here, just coming at you with Kids First Education. Want to talk about some math in a minute this morning. All right, let's talk about fractions and equivalent fractions. Let's start with one whole. In this case, I have one group of 1. What does that look like in math symbols? It'll look like one group of 1. 1 times 1 equal 1. Let's do it again. This time, though, let's have a group of 2. What does that look like in math? Well, that looks like one group of 2 equals 2. 1 times 2 is 2. What if we start with a half? We have one group of 1/2. One group of 1/2 is 1/2, and that's 1 times 1/2 equal 1/2. So one group of anything yields that same amount. That's called the identity property. Woo, woo. Okay, so 1 times any quantity equals that quantity. Is a very important property in mathematics, the identity property. What are other ways to write the number 1? Well, if you have all of something, then you have one whole. So let's take one whole and break it into 2 halves. I have 2 of 2, so I have the whole, and 3/3 and 4/4 and so on. Well, we know that 1/2 times 1 is 1/2. One group of 1/2. Let's look at it again, but now this time I don't want the one whole to be broken into 2 equal pieces. I want it to be broken into 4 equal pieces. Well, that means that my part to whole, my whole must be broken into 4 pieces. So my new denominator will be 4. I must multiply by 2 halves. Remember that 2 halves is the same thing as 1, and that yields 2 fourths. Well, let's look at a picture of that. Well, that's 2 groups of 1/4. Do you notice anything about the size? That's right. They're the same size. They are equivalent in size. They are equivalent fractions. Let's do it again. We'll have our 1/2 and 2 fourths. This time I want to break the whole into 6 equal pieces, but I still want equivalence to 1/2. Well, what do you think I'm going to multiply by? That's right. 3/3. 1/2 times 3/3 is 3/6. What do you think that fraction bar will look like? You're right. I can hear you already. 3 groups of 1/6. That's awesome. So 1/2 is equivalent to 2 fourths, and both of those are equivalent to 3/6. One more. This time, we're going to break the whole into 8 equal pieces. How many pieces do you think would be equivalent to 1/2 if I break it into 8? You're right. Let's multiply by 4 fourths. We get 4 eighths. And that's 4 groups of 1/8. Notice that 1/2 is equivalent to 2 fourths, is equivalent to 3/6, is equivalent to 4 eighths. Let's have a quick vocab recap. The identity property, any quantity times 1 yields that quantity. And equivalent fractions, those are fractions that are the same both numerically equivalent and geometrically equivalent and quantity equivalent. This has been Math in a Minute or 2. Have a great day.